AFR On Demand is brought to you by Breck Golf. Try Beaver Creek today, just 20 minutes from downtown Baton Rouge in the Zachary area. They've got a PGA Tour driving range, a short game practice area, 30 to 40-yard practice shots. It's a great place to chip and putt and practice if you don't have time for a full round. Book your tee time today, golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's ride!
We go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. We are at Walk-Ons, Common Street in Lake Charles. Fired up to be here today, courtesy of our friends at Visit Lake Charles. Really appreciate Eric and Aubrey and Sam. They've rolled out the red carpet for us today and been awesome. Our friends here at Walk-Ons have been great too. And of course, our friends at Mockler Beverage, like Christian LaCouture, former number 18, my guy. Dude, it's always good to see you, man.
My man. Welcome to Lake Charles.
Wait, look at it. Guy's got his 2019 championship ring on, man. The thing just blings in the heavens.
Great year.
Hey, we got time and we got a lot of ground to cover.
Yeah.
Let me just start with the very obvious one. So you played for Coach O and coached under Coach O, and now he's back.
Yep.
Go.
Man, I am so pumped for him. For LSU, for Coach O. Obviously, we knew when he was here as the head coach, and what a great recruiter he was. What a great coach. And just for me, from a personal standpoint, just being able to learn from him, from both a player and as a coach, and just watching, that team grow under his leadership and coming back. And what a great recruiter. What a great role he's going to be in to help Lane Kiffin and his staff. And man, I can't wait to see this year. I'm so happy for him.
I want to dig deep a little bit because you're in a sort of a rare position to be able to talk about Ed Orgeron, both as the position coach, the recruiter, the head coach, all of it. Because you experienced the many different hats of Ed Orgeron. You're one of the few that experienced all of them.
Yep.
So, and even the year when you were injured, which was 17?
16, yep.
16 was, and then you came back 17.
Yep.
So 16 you were injured, and he was the defensive line coach, and you sort of was like a player assistant sort of thing.
Right.
So you saw a bunch of it. You said what a great recruiter he is. We've seen the videos and stuff. From your perspective, what makes him so good at that?
Well, I think he relates so well to not only the player, but the families and the plan that he's going to have for that kid to come to LSU and how he's going to succeed. And he's got the track record to show it, whether he was at USC, Tennessee, LSU, right? Just wherever he's been able to show players coming in, here's the plan, here's the strategy for him, not only to grow his academics, to graduate, the plan he's going to have life after football, and he's got the track record to show that. And for me, it was great to be in that room to watch him and learn from him. And it just for me as a player, and then being a coach and watching those families, watching those players really react to that, be excited about it, but then come to LSU and really watch them grow from that plan and watch that from that strategy. It was a great thing to see, and for me, it was just exciting because for him to come back and be in that role and really the state of Louisiana hunker down on that and make sure that, hey, we lock down Louisiana, and he's got all those relationships. I mean, I think it's a slam dunk and it's a home run for LSU and for Coach O.
Dude, the story that I always remember is the one about Caleb Chasson when he went to Houston and at 3 a.m. followed him and his grandma to the airport, and he was I want my face to be the last thing you see before you get on. I think he's maybe going to Florida.
Yeah.
Or whatever. But do you have one, a story that you remember, a recruiting deal with him or anything that really stick out?
Man, there's so many. What I will say is he's going to get the job done. And I think for him, he's going to make sure at the end of the day is I gave everything I had for this player to know what LSU can give to him and to that family. And, I don't really have a specific story. Caleb Vaughn's is probably the
That's
best
the one
one.
everybody tells because it's so
I'll
good.
tell you, Mason Smith was one that was, we were talking to him every day that we could. And, whether it's phone calls, whether it's Zoom meetings, whether it's with Coach Moffitt, whether it's with our academic support staff, we made sure for Mason it was something that, at the end of the day, that you knew what LSU was going to be for you to make sure you succeed, not only in football, he's doing great in the NFL, but make sure that, hey, you can get your degree, you can come here and be a great student, you can gain those relationships. LSU is going to be great for you in the long haul compared to these other schools. And for me personally, being involved with that, it was a great story.
Yeah. Christian LaCouture is our guest here on site with us in Lake Charles. So then go to the defensive line coach part of that, right? Like, everyone always says, Urban Meyer said it last week, like he's the best defensive line coach.
Yeah.
What makes him so good at that? What differentiates Ed Orgeron from others coaching that position?
Man, he brings that intensity every day. And for me, he brings that energy, he brings that spark, he brings that plan to succeed. And every day was different. Whether Tuesdays it was pass rush day, whether it was Wednesdays where we're focusing on our run blocks and our technique. He always had a great strategy, and then for me it was kind of cool because as a player, I was seeing that, but then as a coach, the breakdown of why we needed to do that every day, the blocks that we're going to see from this offensive line, the pass protection that we're going to see, whether it's a 4-man front sliding, if it's 5-0 protection, whatever it is, we were in there early as we can be, and as late as we can be, studying that opponent from a coach perspective. But then I got to see that from when I was a player, you get the breakdown, you see it, okay, I know what I'm going against. But then as a coach, you really see, okay, this is the strategy we're going after. This is how we can beat this protection. This is how we can beat this run block. The preparation he had to make sure that his defensive line succeeded and bringing that fiery spark to make sure, guys, this is how we got to do it to succeed. It motivates your team. It motivates that group. And for me, that's really where I just felt like I was really ascending as a football player because he had the right placement for me. He made sure he knew where I was going to be. He made sure for me and the defensive line that we were going to succeed, and he gave us everything we had to do to make sure we go out and did it.
So it's interesting, too, because you predated the current era, not only of NIL portal stuff, but also like all the analysts and everything like that. Now you can have, dude, I go out to practice now, dude. They got like 70 coaches on the field. It's like a 1-to-1 ratio of coach to player. They got so many guys out there who are in different roles.
Yeah.
But like when you play, like Ed was the defensive line coach.
Right.
There was one guy.
You had a defensive line coach and a graduate assistant. That's it.
That's it. And so now Kevin Peoples is with the tackles.
Yep.
Sterling Lucas is with the ends.
Yep.
Ed's a special assistant for defense.
Yep.
You still got the GAs out there as well. Like, how does that work?
Man, I think it just, and again, it's great because they have such a great coaching staff, but the personal attention these players are getting now is awesome, right? So, one really, for me, when I was coaching as a GA, I really handled this position group, but now you got 2 defensive line coaches, right? You have multiple GAs. Then you have analysts that are, up, in their rooms studying and breaking down, getting those protections, getting those game plans for the run game. There's so much attention for these players that, hey, you're going to have these tools to succeed. And like you said, when I was playing, it was Coach O, and before that was Brick Haley, and we had a GA, and that was it, And when we left that, we felt like we had always had the attention. But now with the game growing the way it is, having all that attention for these players, kind of like you said, it's like almost like a 1-to-1 breakdown for each player. You have a coach that's working with you every single day, whether it's on the field, in the classroom. Every day you're going to have that attention, and for me, I love it because those players are getting the attention that they need to succeed on Saturday.
Do you think that it could be? I guess I wonder, could it be cumbersome? Or are there too many voices?
I think, for me speaking, when I was there, we always, from Coach O down, right? It was, here's the strategy, and then we pass it down. I think as long as everybody's on the same page and you're working towards that game plan of this is how we're going to do it, this is how we're going to attack it, and it's not necessarily one voice, but you're all speaking the same language, I think it's good. I think it's very good. But, like you said, if somebody's speaking all of that, then it's, it'll hurt. But I think having those guys and the experience they have in that room, they're all speaking the same language, which is awesome.
Can you do another segment?
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Christian's going to hang out with us. Of course, working here now in Lake Charles with Mockler Beverage. Dude, tell us how the move's gone so far.
Man, it's awesome.
Because you were down the bayou.
I was.
You went Baton Rouge. They moved you down to Houma.
Yep.
And now you're in Lake Charles.
Yep. My wife and I just bought our first home out here, and man,
congrats,
it's
bro.
awesome.
That's awesome.
It's awesome.
Love
It's
it.
a great place, man. I work for a great company. Great, everybody here is awesome. The city's awesome. It's a great place to be, and man, I'm so glad you guys are here. So it's going to be a great time.
Dude, Mockler's been awesome to us, and I've told it before, but my wife nannied for Patrick and Shelley's boys,
Yeah.
Patty and Cooper. They're like in college now.
Yeah.
But years before my wife before I ever even knew her.
Yeah.
So we've known the Mocklers for a long time, and when I had the opportunity to work with the Mocklers and you be a partner, it was just such a no-brainer. It's an amazing company. Whenever you realize like the hundreds of people who work for Mockler, both Baton Rouge and Houma.
We're all over. And the cool thing, Matt, too, is we sell the best brands in the world, but we work with the best people in the world. We always we have that mentality. We're going to go out in the market and build those relationships and win. And it's for me, I've been here for 5 years, and it's been really awesome to work with people like you said, and Chris and Mary, and my team that I have out here in the West. It's been something that I've been very fortunate for and very grateful for.
That's awesome, man. All right, we're going to do a quick. We're not going to quick break. Come back to do another segment with LaCouture. I want to talk about. I think your thoughts on Kiffin, the season ahead, the expectation, the roster, all that sort of stuff. So we'll talk some LSU football as we continue. Stay with us here. It's AFR. We're at Walk-Ons in Lake Charles. Courtesy of our friends at Visit Lake Charles. Go to visitlakecharles.org.
After further review.
Get Gordon, get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. You've been injured in an accident. It's not your fault. Do what injured people in our state have done for 3 decades. Get Gordon and get it done. It's Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. So there's 2 different ways that if you've been in an accident, you want to talk to an attorney and see what your options are. 2 different ways. Number 1, you can call if you'd prefer to do that. The number's really easy. It's 888-8888. And no matter where you are in Louisiana, any area code, it's good. Just go 888-8888, 888-8888. Or you can always go to getgordon.com, getgordon.com. When you go to the website, getgordon.com, there's a little chat button in the bottom right hand where you can tap that, and in seconds, you're texting with an associate right away. So learn what your options are. Get what you're entitled to get your life back to normal. And you can trust a great local team of attorneys that are all over the state of Louisiana. It's Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Getgordon.com, getgordon.com. Get Gordon and get it done.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
All right, glad you're rolling along with us here. Just found out we got a little lack on the way, too. How about that,
August.
man?
Coming in August.
Little boy?
Little boy.
We had a name?
Owen, yep.
Owen,
It's
look
gonna
at
be
that,
awesome.
dude.
Yep. Hopefully the next Tiger.
Bro, a future Tiger? Look at this. Dude, you want to talk about... Dude, I was talking earlier with someone here. I was telling them you were coming, and I told him this story. Like, I don't know if I've told you this, but I remember when you were a freshman. That's how long I've been... First of all, that's how... Like, I've been doing
It
this a long...
seems so long ago, man.
It is. Bro, it is. It's been
14
it's been 20 years, man.
I know.
22... No.
14 years since...
Yes, you were a freshman.
Yep.
So it was 2014. So, bro, Les Miles used to do what do you call a media day. Not like SEC media days. Like one media day. It was the same day as Fan Day.
I remember that.
Fan Day was, the fans come get an autograph, all that stuff. Well, the same day as before Fan Day, we had 1 hour. And Les had a rule where freshmen couldn't talk to the media. So it was one day where we could talk to anybody, freshman coach, whoever. And it was for 1 hour. It was like, have at them, divide and conquer. And all the players would sit in their jerseys, like in position groups at the indoor. And so, like, I knew, because I knew it was the only time we were ever going to get to talk to the freshmen.
Yeah.
So I always wanted to go talk to as many of the freshmen as I could. And I remember talking to LaCouture.
This ain't good.
Well, dude, no, it's just because, hang on. So, and you signed out of Lincoln, Nebraska.
Yep.
And so I remember I asked you, I was like, how did you get here from Lincoln, Nebraska? And you go, yeah, well, me and my family, we took like I-85 and came to 59. I was like, no, not literally. Like, what road did you take? Meaning, how does a guy from Lincoln, Nebraska, end up in Baton Rouge? Well, then we talk about it. Obviously, you moved a bunch. Your dad in the military, and also so you lived a lot of different places, and which is amazing in and of itself. But I was thinking, like, you were just a kid who just didn't really understand the nuance of what I was asking. And but that's, now we're sitting here doing this.
A little stage fright.
I don't even know if it was that, dude. It was just, I didn't ask. Awesome. I should have asked a very direct question, like, why did you pick LSU from Nebraska? Like, why aren't you playing in Lincoln?
I tell you, it was looking back, is the best decision I ever made. You remember, I was committed to Texas A&M, committed to Nebraska, and obviously at the end there, I was just kind of really having second thoughts and really wanted to sit down with my family, and always was still talking to LSU. And for me, it was like, what a time to, I'm signing here in a month and a half, 2 months. I'm like, if I'm going to do this, I got to pull the trigger now. I got to do it. And I sat down with the Nebraska coaches and Coach Pelini, and my dad and parents are always like, hey, if you're going to do this, you're going to sit down face to face and tell them this is how it's going to be. And went up there and talked to them, and they were great. They were awesome. It was just, for me, I had a change of heart, and looking back, it was the best decision I ever made.
So who was your primary recruit? Was it Brick Haley?
Brick was Steve Craigthorpe. So crazy Coach story. I'll never forget this.
Shout out.
And you really, rest in peace to him. I was in Odessa, Texas, at Odessa Permian. I was a freshman becoming a sophomore. And, man, I was not feeling good that day. I had spring ball, and this is all new for me. I'm coming from Boston, and, was really feeling down that day. But I went to school for some reason. I'm like, I got to go. Third or fourth spring practice, and I get out there. And I was a big baseball guy. I love baseball. But our coach is down there like, hey, football's year-round. You're going to do this. So I put baseball aside, and we had spring practice. I'll never forget, Steve Craigthorpe was with A&M. He was there, and we had other coaches, but that's how I met Coach Craigthorpe, was when he was at A&M, and it was that first practice. And he followed me around everywhere and watched my drills. They couldn't talk to us at the time, but he was watching me. And, from there on out, I got with A&M. It was my first offer, and then Steve went to LSU, and, we kept that communication, got with Coach Brick and Coach Miles and Coach Chavis, and that's kind of how it all led to LSU, man. If you really look at it, it kind of gives me chills thinking about it. It started on that day, and for some reason, if I just stayed home from school, I never know what would have happened.
God, it's fascinating. I don't even think I knew that part of it, man. I forgot that you were – I don't think we talked about you being committed to A&M.
Yeah.
But I know moving a bunch and how it all ended up here. And now – it's wild you talk about decommitting. We talked at the start of the show today, if you weren't listening or watching, we talked about Jaden Bryant. I don't even know how closely you follow the recruiting piece of it. He was an edge rusher out of South Carolina, was committed to LSU, big 5-star. He flipped to Miami yesterday. And you kind of – Christian, you kind of just go like, it's like they had a 5-star on campus last week, and they got a 5-star on campus this week. If they don't get one, they go in the portal.
Right, and I think that's crazy. That's how college football is now. It's like, okay, if you miss out on this guy, there's plenty of other prospects. I mean, they have so many guys on their board probably. And then again, you have the transfer portal. If you need immediate assistance, there's going to be somebody in there to help you. It's so different from when I was there and even before that. I mean, you've seen it. It's like when you missed out on a guy 15 years ago, it's like, man, we got to wait till next year for the next guy. Now it's like, okay, we missed out, to your point. Let's go in the portal. Let's find a guy that can replace that immediate assistance so we can fill it.
Do you ever miss coaching?
No, man, for me, no. It was a great time for me. It was a great experience to learn and grow, because it's very similar to what I'm doing now. The product's changed, right? So when I used to go into a home and recruit why LSU is the best, now I go into these stores and I show them why our brands are the best, right? So it's very similar. So no, I don't, but it was a great experience for me. And for me, I think at that time it was great for me, but now where I'm at now, I couldn't ask for anything better.
Yeah. What do you think about Kiffin?
Man, I think it was a home run hire. I mean, credit to, Virg Osbury and everybody to get that done and have that group of what they have and go out and get the best coach, right? Go out there and he's shown success. And what he did at Ole Miss in those 4 or 5 years and just growing, and he didn't have the resources like what LSU can bring, right? But what he had, he utilized it, he maximized it, and he made sure at the end of the day, they're going to go out there. And I think he had 3 or 4 years in a row. We had 11-win seasons, the most in the Ole Miss history.
Yeah, they won 50 games over the last 5 years. The only other schools that did that were Bama and Georgia in that time span.
So he's always had proven success, but what he's been able to do with a team, and Ole Miss is good, but it doesn't have the resources like LSU.
Yeah.
I think he's starting to see that, and man, I think it was a home run hire. I can't wait to see it this year.
Offense is going to be offense has followed him wherever, right? Wherever he goes, offense is good. That's going to be a thing that happens. They're going to be good offensively.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see with the roster spin that they have, where the expectation is you're going to make the playoff, right? But you look at the schedule and you go 9 SEC games and Clemson. What? When I ask you, as a player, of course, competitors want to play the best. You want to play the best games. I tend to look back. I pull back and look at it logically. I want my team to win a championship, and playing that schedule isn't conducive to it, especially when the Big Ten isn't doing it. So you put yourself at a disadvantage. So when your scheduling is such a huge topic right now, what do you think about it?
Man, I think you can look at it both ways. Obviously, the SEC, I'll always say this is the best conference in the world. I know the Big Ten's they're kind of top heavy, but I think from the SEC, from top to bottom, is just, obviously the bottom's probably not going to compete for a national championship, but they're going to give you a good fight, right?
And the bottom of the Big Ten is atrocious.
And that's what I'm saying. If you look at the bottom from the SEC to the bottom of the Big Ten, there's no comparison.
Yeah.
So I think from a standpoint of, if you look at the schedule that LSU has this year, it's very tough. Don't get me wrong, but if you really look at it, I think they're going to be very well battle-tested. And I think going into where their aspirations are to go into the playoff and go deep into the playoff, hopefully for a national championship, you've played Clemson, you've played Bama, you've played Texas. You're going to play teams that are probably going to be in the running for it, if not in it, right? So you're going to end up playing those teams, but you're also going to know where your team is, right? You're going to know that, hey, at the end of the day, we know we're battle-tested. We played against the best. We know where our team stacks up against these guys. So I think you can look at it both ways. It's going to be very challenging, but you're going to know at the end of the day your team's battle-tested.
You think about 19 when you all won it, and there weren't a lot of layups on that schedule. You played at Texas in the non-conference.
Yep.
Obviously, it was an 8-game SEC schedule at the time. But even still, when you look at the 8-game SEC schedule that you all played on the road at Bama, it was obvious. And then the college football playoff game where you had to play SEC championship against Georgia, Oklahoma, and then obviously the national championship.
The craziest game and probably the hardest game, and this is just from what I remember, that Auburn game was very, very difficult because of what they – one of the things I remember is that defensive line in front of what they had. It was very hard to run the ball. We kind of went one-dimensional. Thank God we had Joe, right, and on that wide receiver course. But it was very hard to run the ball against. I think they had 2 first-rounders, and then Marlon Davidson was a second-round pick. So we had a lot of crazy games that year, but that game, the Bama game too, but that Auburn game was very difficult because of they kind of challenged their offense when we really hadn't seen it challenge that much.
The thing about that Auburn game, we could do a full 3-hour show just on that season and everything we could do, which maybe we should do one day, which would be awesome.
Let's run
just go game by game. But the thing about Auburn is I always said about that game, and we're talking about the Auburn game in 2019, which was the only quote-unquote close game the team played all year. It felt, though, like LSU was the big brother with its hand on the little brother's head, and the little brother was swinging, and you're getting close but never quite got clipped.
Yeah.
And if you remember, Auburn offensively in that game did nothing. So it wasn't ever really a threat, but Stingley muffed a punt.
Yeah.
There was a turnover down at the goal line. When LSU was going in. So that was your points off the board. When they scored at the end, there was a miracle oopsie pass down the sideline, which was the only chunk play they made the entire game.
Right.
So I never really felt like Auburn ever had a chance to win the game. But you look up at the scoreboard and you go, oh, you're like a pick six or away from
one possession.
From being in the game. So it's but man, it's
a great year.
It's the understatement of the world. Great year.
I can't, man, it was like, and that was my first year coaching, and I was very blessed with it. And you look at the team we had, and again, it kind of goes back to Coach O's leadership and being able to bring everybody in from a coaching staff, from a player perspective, being able to recruit Joe Burrow to come in. recruiting in Louisiana with Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase, and being able to recruit outside of that with Grant Delpit and among other people, it was a job well done on his part.
Christian LaCouture, man, former number 18. They keeping 18 going?
Yeah, I hope so.
Kiffin said it's going to keep going.
I hope so, man.
You want a group text?
No, yeah, we have a group text.
Can you put me in the group text?
Let's do it. Yeah, I'm sure
don't tell Hester that, bro.
He probably get on my butt about it.
You're like, whoa, no. Get the ball guy
Christian
out of there.
LaCouture is out of Matt Moscona.
Like, wait, what? What is he doing here? I just asked him if he put me in the 18 group text. What do you think Jake would say about that?
Jake would probably immediately remove you from it. Immediately.
And then he beat the mess out of Christian.
They tear me up.
They'd remove both of you.
Yeah,
you'd be out.
I'm
no
gone.
more 18.
Yep, gone.
Christian LaCouture, great to see you, brother. Thanks, man.
Appreciate
you so much. We're brought to you by South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com. Man, I was actually texting earlier today with Brad Bove, the business manager over at South Point, getting my new whip ready. Probably gonna go pick it up next week. So excited. Think I'm gonna upgrade to the SEL package. That's what Erica's got. So figured good enough for Mama, good enough for me. Looking forward to it. South Point Volkswagen, airline just north of Highlander. southpointvw.com. southpointvw.com. Whether you're buying new or certified pre-owned, safest vehicles on the road, style, feel, performance of luxury without the cost. You know where to go. Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer. South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction? All right, y'all. Rain has subsided. Maybe the sun trying to peek through a little bit. Got hopefully a beautiful night here in Lake Charles as we're here at Walk-Ons on Common Street in Lake Charles. Our friends from the ABC Pelican chapter are here with us. Of course, Christian worked with Mockler Beverage, great partners and sponsors of ours. They're the official beer not only of LSU, the Saints, but also of the McNeese State Cowboys. And, of course, Visit Lake Charles hosting us here, and we're so thrilled. We appreciate Eric and Aubrey and Sam from Visit Lake Charles. They're on site here. They've been great hosts, and we remind you all the time, if you're coming for golf or the casinos or the fishing charters that run every day, Lake Charles is Louisiana's playground. So if you haven't been in a while, or if you've never been, plan a long weekend and keep that revenue in state and come visit a great city here in Lake Charles in Southwest Louisiana. Visit lakecharles.org. All right, y'all. Let me knock out a quick break. We'll come back. NBA Finals Game 1 in the books, obviously. And there are a few LSU. We missed this in hour 2 that I wanted to talk about. There's a few LSU baseball portal targets that have kind of come across my desk that I want to fill you in on. So we'll dive into that as we continue. And Jimmy's here in 15 minutes for Auto Locks. Don't you move. It's AFR.
After further review.
Always love telling you about our friends over at the Watermark and the Renaissance. Watermark downtown, Renaissance Southtown. Renaissance Baton Rouge is the best place in Baton Rouge to host an event. So if in the remainder of 2026, or if you're already looking ahead to 2027 for whatever organization it may be, maybe you've got a fundraiser coming up, an awards banquet that you're hosting, maybe it's a conference. Remember, the Grand Ballroom at the Renaissance can hold up to 500 people. So it's a great place where there's enough guest rooms to host your whole group if you need to stay overnight. If you're in town, of course, their Grand Ballroom can host up to 500. They have executive boardrooms for a dozen people. You can have your meals in the boardroom as well. Exquisite. So, and everything in between. They can host you, accommodate you. As my friend Allison Crump always says, we're in the business of saying yes. They can manipulate their space to accommodate you. It's Renaissance Baton Rouge.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
A couple of names to keep under your hat here as the transfer portal's open and the thing that cycle's spinning right now in college baseball. One, I know Hunt wrote about it up at LouisianaSports.net. It's kind of been sharing notes. Was told Landon Hood is a name you certainly need to know. And he's from Gonzaga. He's a big 6'3", right-hander, mid-90s. He's a really good reliever this year for Gonzaga. He was the West Coast Conference Freshman of the Year. And there was 3 weeks, it was 3 game stretch over 2 weeks where he was a little bumpy. 12 innings, like 12 runs in 12 innings. It was bumpy. Aside from that, the other 13 outings of the season, he gave up 4 earned runs across 42 innings of work. It was a .86 ERA the rest of the season. He was awesome. Again, conference freshman of the year. And so when I think about what this team is looking for, when you know, we've talked about this before, but you're returning your top 5 starting pitchers from this year. Again, on a staff that was the worst ERA in the SEC, but you're returning Evans and Schmidt and Moore and Paz and Ricken. I mean, 4 of those 5 had SEC starts. You're probably not looking for someone who is going to try to compete to earn a starting position in the rotation. What you're probably looking for are proven starters and then bullpen guys. Because you could look at your bullpen. Maverick Rizzi obviously is gone. Zach Cowan, you lose those innings to graduation. A couple of other veteran pitchers entered the portal, and Jaden Newt and DJ Primo, who didn't really fill a big role in your team this year. But there's certainly a strong possibility that Santiago Garcia is going to be a draft risk. So you are going to be looking for Devin Sheeran, obviously is very likely going to sign this year. So you're looking for proven bullpen arms, and this could certainly be one. A guy that's 6'3", throws mid-90s, a strong guy. He's from the state of Arizona. Now, Jay wouldn't have been recruiting him to Arizona, but you better believe Jay knows every prospect everywhere, certainly in the Southwest and in Arizona. So one worth keeping an eye on there. Again, he entered the portal, Hood did, with a do not contact tag. So that generally says if you enter the portal with a do not contact tag, you already know where you're going, right? Those conversations have been had. And so if it's down to one school or 1 or 2 schools, he's not opening his recruitment to go take visits. He knows what's happening. So Landon Hood is one that you certainly need to know. Another one, we haven't written about it yet at LouisianaSports.net, but I will share it with you. It's one that was sort of passed to me a day ago that LSU could be interested in is Dawson Park. So Dawson Park played his second season, 2 seasons at Texas State. And he left the team this year amid a little bit of controversy. He flew out in a game, as the story goes. You can go read this. He flew out. It was a game where, for all intents and purposes, their season ended. Their playoff opportunity, postseason opportunity ended. And he and a teammate got into it as he was coming off the field. He kind of had to be escorted, as the story goes. I wasn't there, but I read about it. Had to kind of be like escorted out of the locker room. Well, anyway, then he leaves the team. Was kicked off. I don't know. But he's a guy that at the time he left was leading their team in home runs and RBI. So this is an infielder who is a versatile infielder, can play anywhere, middle infielder, third base, and has some pop, 13 homers, and led the team in RBI. So he can hit for average, for power, and can play anywhere on the infield. So when you look at how the infield for LSU is sort of coming along and coming together right now, you certainly hope Stephen Milam returns, but you can't just go into this offseason on a hope and a prayer. You have got to go add players that might be able to replace Stephen. Like, you need a shortstop, assuming Stephen Milam signs. Now, there's a chance you could get him back, and if you do, okay, great. Then whoever you add, maybe it's someone who plays second or third. I mean, think about Danny Dickinson a year ago on the national championship team. Milam had been playing second. Well, Milam wins the job at short. Braswell ends up playing third. He beats out Reeves. Well, you need a second baseman. Dickinson becomes your everyday second baseman. So those opportunities are going to be there on the infield. Now, Jack Ruckert is back. Ethan Klaus is still on the team. You didn't play a bunch as a freshman this year, so those 2 guys are there. But Jay Johnson's going to be looking for a proven shortstop. And if Milam's back, great. If not, you're going to be looking for someone else to fill that gap. And so maybe, that could be an option. The other names that we've mentioned are Ty Konis. I think we talked about him yesterday. He was all freshman, all Big Ten, started all 56 games at Maryland this year, hit .286, only committed 8 errors. That's one to know. And then Mikey Bell at Gonzaga, the third baseman, power hitting third baseman, 2-time West Coast Conference Player of the Year. He is a draft risk. So there's a possibility that Bell, whoever he signs with, he ends up signing a pro contract that never ends up playing another inning of college baseball. But that's one that's you take a risk. We've mentioned a few of those, like Dylan Tabrock, who was the Creighton pitcher who signed with LSU a few years ago, ended up getting drafted and signed. Carter Young from Baylor, from Vandy, Jack Pineda from Baylor, a couple that come to mind. So anyway, they're continuing to build, but those are players that I know that I can say that LSU. This isn't just putting together a list of guys that might be a fit. These are players I'm telling you LSU is interested in or has contact. Like Brody Trosclair already visited. Jason Walks from Tulane is one we talked about with Ronnie Rance earlier. Might have mentioned him a day ago too, but he's from the state of Florida. Played the last 2 years at Tulane, hit .311 cumulatively, 6'2" outfielder, can really run. But he's visiting the big three in Florida, Florida State, Miami, and then he's going to visit LSU. So there's Conus Bell, and then I mentioned Landon Hood. So there's they're putting those out there. Dawson Park, who we just talked about from Texas State. Those are names that you need to know because there's real legitimate interest, mutual interest from LSU in the player. Now it's a matter of, can you get the deal done? Do they pick LSU? Do they go somewhere else? So just a few of those names to keep an eye on here as the portal cycle continues churning. All right, it is After Further Review. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here on this Thursday edition of AFR. We are brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Windows, doors, siding, shutters, and shades. It's Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Remember, whenever the weather starts to get hotter, we talk about these energy-efficient replacement windows. It's super important because not only do they measure twice, install once to reduce the costly air leaks, the windows are also energy efficient. So it's going to help reduce those costly air leaks and keep your home cool as your AC is pumping. So it's going to lower your energy bills. In time, this is an investment into your home that'll pay for itself, and it'll increase your home's resale value, and comes with a lifetime transferable warranty. So when you go to sell your home, that warranty transfers to the next homeowner. It's Relief Windows. They'll never take $1 from you, y'all. They'll never take $1 until they're done and you're thrilled. No deposits, no money up front. They take all the risk at Relief Windows. They just will not stop until they're done and you're thrilled. Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. All right, it is After Further Review. We're coming down the home stretch here. Jimmy will be along in just a few minutes. We'll do Otter Locks, get Jimmy's thoughts on Game 1 of the NBA Finals. Pretty incredible, man. San Antonio led by as many as, if you didn't watch the game last night, it was great theater. San Antonio led by as many as 14, and then the Knicks 11-0 run to close out the game and win it by 10. So the Knicks take Game 1 in San Antonio. It was great theater, and I saw this stat earlier today. I didn't really have a rooting interest. I don't really care about either of these organizations. The Spurs are in the Pelicans division, so I really don't like the Spurs, but I have no love lost for the Knicks. I mean, I don't care, but I don't hate the Knicks. I just don't like the Knicks. But I'm really happy for Josh Hart. Josh Hart was a great Pelican, and the thing that sticks out, I think Pels fans will remember this, when Josh Hart got traded the next day when the Pelicans played, Josh Hart bought a ticket, was in the stands, in the crowd watching his team, his former teammates. Now, they maybe they gave him seats, but whatever. The point is, he's just been traded from the organization, and he went to the game as an observer, as a fan. So, an easy guy to like and pull for, and he had a great game in Game 1. He was the leading rebounder. It led the team in rebounds, assists, and steals. That's the first. I saw this stat on SportsCenter this morning. First time in finals history, one player led a finals game in all three of those statistics. So, if you're looking for a rooting interest, look, Jose Alvarado as well also. But man, Josh Hart, I'd love to see him get a win, get a ring. So, Knicks, they take Game 1. We'll see what the Otters got for Game 2 and the remainder of the series. So here's what we'll do. We'll knock out a final break of the show. Our Thursday shows, as always, are presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing, DecisionCriticalBR.com, DecisionCriticalBR.com. It's not just healthcare; it's healthcare for your lifestyle. If it's you're bringing home a new baby and maybe you just need a night to sleep to give yourself a break, their nurse can come in home, take care of your infant baby. Maybe it's end-of-life care. You have in-home hospice, whatever it may be. Maybe you're having surgery and you need someone to get you from surgery home, carry out the doctor's orders at home. IV hydration therapy, they do that at Decision Critical. If maybe you're a man on hormone replacement therapy and you have to give blood, they can do therapeutic phlebotomy in your home, in your office. It'll save you time. It's convenience, and they're expertly trained nurses. It's DecisionCriticalBR.com. DecisionCriticalBR.com, and their nurses serve the whole state of Louisiana. So it's not just Baton Rouge. It's all of Louisiana, and they have a Dallas office now as well. DecisionCriticalBR.com. All right, y'all. We'll knock out our final break of the show. We'll come back. We'll wrap it up next. Jimmy will be here for Otter Locks. See if we can get a bounce back after a rough night last night. Wrap it up with Otter Locks next on AFR.
AFR.
Remember, Goodwood, men's sexual wellness, yourgoodwood.com. I tell you all the time, it's about feeling your best, okay? And if it's hormone therapy, if it's peptide therapy, which we talk about all the time, at Goodwood, they offer the lowest prices, never any contracts, and they're going to get you feeling like your younger self. And it's as easy as a simple blood test. You'll go into the office, they'll draw a vial of blood, they'll send it off to the lab, they'll run to get your levels, and they'll test for everything, all your different hormone levels, and they'll come back and they'll go over your levels with you and say how they can safely, affordably supplement you to get you to healthy levels, to get you feeling and performing like you did when you were younger. You want to have energy to get to the gym. You want to have waking energy. You want to build muscle and burn fat, clear your brain fog, have great libido. All of those things are possible as you age. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness can help you achieve it. Yourgoodwood.com, yourgoodwood.com. We're brought to you by River Parish Contractors, rpcontractors.com, rpcontractors.com. Hey, listen, I tell you every day about the great work they do at River Parish Contractors. So if you're hiring an industrial contractor, you know River Parish Contractors, all the plants, everybody, rpcontractors.com. Right now, I really have to stress, though, that they are hiring and they need pipe welders and pipe tackers and fitters, and they need everything right now. I mean, they have, I told you recently, they were bidding on 4 different contracts, and they ended up getting, you would have loved to get one. They got all 4. So they got tons of work at River Parish Contractors, as much overtime as you want to work, absolutely no rainouts, paid time off, great benefits. It's River Parish Contractors. Call Big Jake at 318-547-1000, 318-547-1000, 318-547-1000. Call Big Jake today at River Parish Contractors. Visit rpcontractors.com.
After Further Review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at DecisionCriticalBR.com.
Down the stretch we come, final segment here on a Thursday edition of AFR, presented by Decision Critical. We're here at Walk-Ons in Lake Charles on Common Street. Man, thrilled. Got to meet so many great people today, listeners of the show, just awesome people who've come by to hang out and say hello. I'm sincerely grateful to visit Lake Charles, to Mockler Beverage, to the ABC Pelican chapter, Ronnie, the Gumbo Gators, the Rougarou, everybody who's helped make this, pull this all together has been awesome. Shout out to our friends at Mockler Beverage. It's been awesome. So, and of course, our friends here at Walk-Ons in Lake Charles have hosted us today. They've been awesome hosts. So, sincerely grateful. Okay, one thing left to do, find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks.
All right, time to win some money.
Presented by Total Maintenance AC Repair. Same-day service means you will never sleep hot. 480-1000. We are Total Maintenance.
I think it's safe to say that I won the bet.
Water, what up?
What's going on, Matthew? I blew that 14-point lead in the second half.
Man.
San Antonio. That was a rough one.
Well, that's such is life in the NBA. But, man, I tell you, I know we talked about it yesterday with the Knicks, in the Eastern Conference. But, my goodness, there's something about that team that I like a lot. And the youth of the Spurs maybe what you think, maybe bit them a little bit late last night.
The first 7 or 8 players for both teams in their rotation. Think about how many got, and this is hindsight now, but I'm with you too. Last night went a long way of me giving the Knicks a little respect. But how many of the guys for the Spurs, their first 8, are before their prime or in their prime? Not many. how many guys in the Knicks first 8 are in their prime? Carl Anthony Towns playing the best he ever has. Brunson's at the top of his game. Mikal Bridges is having a postie. You know what I mean? There's so many of those guys that are in their prime, and they're just older, more mature, and shot selection and hustle and physicality. It all paid off for the Knicks, and I'm really worried about the Spurs, bouncing back.
We'll see,
man. Yeah.
All right, what are we looking at tonight? Yep.
It's a Colucci-McKay double barrel pick tonight in the NHL Stanley Cup Finals, game number 2 in Charlotte. Colucci likes the Hurricanes to bounce back. It's minus the price, about $1.50, $55.60. And Randy McKay likes the under. So we're going with Carolina in the under in the NHL. 3 picks in Major League Baseball start off in Houston. You saw that Skeen for the 4th time in a row. Kind of a not so great start. His last 4 starts, his ERA is going from just under 2 to over 3. He's also given up 31 combined walks and hits over 20 innings pitched in those 4 starts. So he is a little bit of a slide right now after a really good run. But who's really bad is that Pittsburgh bullpen. Jared Jones is just making his second start of the season. He's on a pitch limit tonight. You got to go back to that Pittsburgh bullpen again tonight for a lengthy, for quite some time. I think Jones threw 4 innings last time. I'm looking at the Astros in a small price, minus 10, minus 15, with Tang, who's been a really respectable pitcher for the Astros to this point. Going to the A's to sweep the Cubbies in Wrigley Field. Ginn has had a nice start, and we like to play the sweeps when they win the first 2. So we're taking the A's over the slumping Cubs, and the last one, I'm trying
Royals.
to look.
The Royals
is Kansas City. Lugo, that's right. The Centenary Jet. I'm a buddy from Centenary. That's Lugo. He's back. So we're taking Lugo, the former Met, the former Gent. We're going with Lugo time, baby.
All right.
Kansas City Royals.
2 of them on the ice, the Hurricanes and the under. And then in Major League Baseball, 3 money line plays. The Stros, the A's, and the Royals. You can always get the picks for free at LouisianaSports.net. Rufino's tomorrow.
Yes, indeed. Rufino's, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Come on by and see it.
All right, Otter, we appreciate it as always. Thank you.
All right, good luck.
Of course, Jimmy is a Williamson Eye Center patient, as am I. We love to sing Dr. Blake's praises. I've told you all the story before, me and Jimmy and Bistro Nico in Atlanta. Otter foodie he is, which is legitimate, takes me to a French restaurant. Menu legitimately in French. Otter, order something, whatever. But he's sitting there with the glasses on the end of his nose. He's got his flashlight on his phone out there just so he could see the menu. Not anymore. He had the lens replacement with Dr. Blake. I had LASIK. They're the best. WilliamsonEye.com. WilliamsonEye.com. Alondra, thanks. You're the best. Muse, Paulie, thanks. See you
AFR.
And as we get on down the road, remind you about Arco Power Systems. Hey, look, a day like today, doesn't it remind you what the season's like? I mean, I'm looking out the window right now. I've been looking at these beautiful, we're on the patio at Walk-Ons here in Lake Charles. This beautiful patio with all these windows and the roll-up doors and everything. And it has just been like gray skies since we started the show. Rain throughout. It's just a reminder of the time of year, right? Storms come, power goes out. What do? Well, at your home, you have a standby generator. What about your business? What do you do at your business? Well, you need a standby generator at your business. That's what Arco does. ARCCO. Arco.com, 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 ARCCO, Arco.com. Go there. If you have a restaurant, what happens to your restaurant when the power goes out? Are you going to be out of business for days, weeks? Arco Power Systems. Everything's turnkey. They service much of the region. Arco.com.